You probably have not called that friend in months, maybe longer. Life got in the way. Health appointments, family obligations, tiredness in the evenings. And slowly, without any argument, without any drama, a friendship that once meant everything to you simply faded. You did not plan it, neither did they. But here you are. By the end of this video, you will understand why friendships after 60 are not just nice to have. They are one of the most powerful forces keeping you healthy, sharp, and emotionally alive. You will also know what actually works when it comes to building and keeping real friendships in this chapter of life. Here is something most people do not know. A landmark study from Harvard, one that tracked 724 people over 80 years, found that the single strongest predictor of a long, healthy life was not diet, not exercise, not genetics. It was the quality of their relationships, not the number of friends, the quality. One genuine warm friendship protects your brain and heart more than almost any medication we know of. Loneliness, on the other hand, raises cortisol levels chronically, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of cognitive decline at a rate comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That is not a metaphor. That is the measurement. Think of friendship like a garden. When you are working and raising children and managing a full schedule, that garden tends itself almost automatically. People walk through, things grow, but retirement changes everything. The automatic watering stops, and if you do not make a conscious decision to tend the garden, things quietly wither. That is not a personal failure. It is simply what happens when the structure that held your social world together disappears. The practical tip here is surprisingly simple. Identify one person, just one, you have been meaning to contact. Not to plan something complicated, just to say you were thinking of them. A voice message takes 45 seconds. That is where rebuilding starts. Now here is what makes friendship in this life stage genuinely different from before. After 60, you have less patience for pretending. You have been through enough to know what feels real and what does not. Many people describe their friendships after 60 as actually deeper than anything they had in their 30s or 40s, precisely because the social performance has dropped away. There is no more competing, no more impressing, no more keeping up. What is left is honesty, shared history, the kind of conversation where you do not have to explain the decade to be understood. Margaret, 71, from a small town in the Midlands, told her daughter that her Thursday afternoon walking group with 2 other women felt more nourishing than years of perfectly organized dinner parties ever had. Nothing extraordinary happened on those walks. They talked about their gardens, their grandchildren, their doctors, their fears, but they told the truth. And that, she said, was everything. If you are watching this and nodding, do something for me. Scroll down and leave a comment right now, telling us one thing you genuinely value in a friendship. Just one word or one sentence. You will be surprised how many people feel exactly what you are feeling. Now let us talk about the part nobody likes to admit. Making new friends after 60 feels awkward. Deeply, uncomfortably awkward for most people. It can feel like arriving at a party where everyone already knows each other. And there is a real reason for that feeling. The social scripts we used when we were younger, shared workplaces, school gates, neighborhood routines, no longer apply. You have to build connection without those structures, and that requires something most of us were never explicitly taught: intentional social effort. The research on this is actually encouraging. Studies from the University of Kansas found that it takes roughly 50 hours of time together to move from acquaintance to casual friend, and around 200 hours to develop a close friendship. That sounds like a lot, but it also means the clock starts the moment you show up somewhere regularly. A weekly class, a local choir, a book group, a volunteer role. The activity itself matters far less than the repetition. Showing up to the same place, with the same people, week after week, that is the engine of friendship formation at any age. And for men specifically, this matters even more urgently. Research consistently shows that men over 65 are far more likely to have their social world collapse after retirement or bereavement than women of the same age. Women tend to maintain and rebuild friendship networks more naturally. Men often rely almost entirely on one or two relationships, a spouse, a long-term colleague. And when those disappear, the isolation can be severe and silent. If you are a man watching this, or you love one, this is not weakness. This is a pattern worth interrupting. There is also something worth saying about technology. Video calls with family are wonderful, but they are not friendship. Passive scrolling through social media creates the illusion of connection without the nourishment of it. Real friendship involves reciprocity, the experience of being heard, being responded to, being remembered. No algorithm provides that. A phone call does, a letter does. Even a short walk with someone does. The format matters less than the presence. Leave a 7 in the comments if you are still here with me. I want to know who stayed. So what do you actually do with all of this? Here is the quiet truth that the research keeps coming back to. You do not need many friends. You need a few real ones. 3 or 4 people who would notice if you went quiet. People you could call on a bad day without performing fine. People who remember what you have been through and do not need you to explain it. If you have that, protect it like the rare thing it is. Show up. Reply. Initiate sometimes. Do not always wait to be invited. Forgive the gaps, because life at this age has a way of creating gaps that nobody intended. And if you do not have that yet, if you are watching this and thinking, honestly, I am not sure I do, then this is not a reason for shame. It is a reason to start. One contact, one class, one repeated Tuesday morning somewhere. The garden can grow again. It just needs someone to decide to tend it. Friendship after 60 is not a consolation prize for the social life you used to have. It is something different entirely, something quieter, more chosen, and in many ways more honest than anything that came before. The people who thrive in this chapter of life are not the ones who kept the busiest calendars. They are the ones who kept the realest connections. You have lived enough to know the difference. And that, more than anything, is the advantage you carry into every friendship you build from here. If this felt true to you, explore our other videos on relationships, well-being, and living well after 60. Everything is made with exactly this conversation in mind.